This episode is for anyone who survived the year, whether you thrived, you feel like you barely made it, or just kind of floated your way through it. Today, we're celebrating the end of this chapter, finally, right? Releasing what didn't work and welcoming the new year with a little bit of magic and a lot less pressure. All right, so welcome to the Main Allure podcast. I am your host, Laura, and in today's episode, this is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be softer, lighter, and intentionally whimsical. We're not doing a New Year, New You episode. This is going to be more of a same you, but just a little bit lighter. Because if we're being honest, the end of the year shouldn't feel like we're reinventing ourselves. Instead, why not focus more on the release of what no longer serves us? So before rushing into the new year, let's first pause for a second and recognize that yes, we actually made it through this insane year. It may have not been the most glamorous, or it may have not turned out as you expected. Honestly, I would say like the best way to describe this year was that it was extremely chaotic, right? So the most important thing is that you showed up on the days that you didn't want to. You learned things that you didn't ask to learn or were even forced to learn. You outgrew people, habits, expectations, sometimes quietly, other times dramatically. And for that, you deserve all of the praise. So if no one has told you, you should be proud of yourself. The end of the year should be reserved for celebrating the fact that we made it through without maybe running someone over or ending up in jail, right? Because that was what this year was giving. Am I right? So let's celebrate the year of simply existing, not for being perfect or keeping it all together. Because we all deserve to feel proud of making it through these terrible times. We don't need to burn anything. We don't need to journal for 3 hours or cry in the shower, unless, of course, you want to. Honestly, crying in the shower is pretty therapeutic, I must say. So if you need to do it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But what I recommend instead is to release the year like we're setting down this heavy bag full of burdens that we've been carrying along for all of these months. So what should you release? What are you carrying in that bag? And what should you be leaving behind? It may look like that version of you that thought that you were falling behind, or the pressure that you feel like you need to have it all figured out, or the belief that rest must be earned. It could look like moments that you keep replaying in your mind that you wish you would have done differently, or even the idea that every year has to be your year. Let's be honest, you don't have to sit there and analyze every little thing that has happened. The best thing you can do is just say, thank you for the lesson. I have learned a lot. I think I'm good now. Okay, so now for the fun part. Instead of setting goals or resolutions or these grand plans, why not enter the new year with a more whimsical mindset? And by being whimsical, I mean choosing curiosity over the pressure of sticking to a rule or idea of what it should be. It could look like adding more playtime in your life over constantly performing for everyone else. I honestly feel like we don't have enough playtime. We don't make space for enough playtime to be dorky, to be silly, to be ridiculous. Playtime keeps us young, and I don't think we do enough of it. Being whimsical looks like allowing yourself to explore the possibilities instead of always expecting everything to go exactly as planned. Leave a little room for the unknown. Leave a little room for imperfection. Now, here are some ways that you can become more whimsical in your approach for the new year. And you can say to yourself, this year, I will follow what feels interesting to me, whether it's a song, a movie, a place. Lean into those things that pique your interest. You can also choose to romanticize those small moments on purpose. And if something, let's say, interests you, make sure to romanticize the experience by basking in and taking in the moment. Treat yourself like you are the main character of the story because you are the main character of your story. And this is to make sure that you understand that everything that is happening around you is happening for you. You also have to leave some room to change your mind if you want to, because not all of the decisions that you make really need to be the end all be all. Changing your mind sometimes is essential, and it could also be for the best. So, of course, leave some room to allow yourself to change your mind. The other thing is that not everything you carry with you should feel heavy. We all need some lightheartedness in the middle of the pressures and expectations that we set for ourselves. Remember, balance is key. So if you're always carrying around these heavy burdens or things that people are expecting of you, chances are you're probably going to break at some point. So leave a little wiggle room to add some lightheartedness in there. The other thing is allowing for things to happen naturally, because when something happens naturally, it just flows, right? Trying to control the outcome of something will only cause it to break. The point of embracing your whimsy is to give yourself permission to enjoy life without ever needing a reason. You shouldn't have to schedule enjoyment, right? You shouldn't have to schedule when you're going to have fun. You shouldn't have to schedule when you actually want to laugh. You should never need a reason to feel like something is worthy, like something is enjoyable, like something is making you feel happy. So embrace the whimsy. Here are a few playful, low-effort rituals that you can try before the end of the new year. And the first one is to focus only on what worked for you this year. And what I mean by that is don't focus on your accomplishments. Focus on the things that helped you get through the year, even on your hard days. And these are the things that brought you peace, that made you smile, that gave you hope for the future. It could be a friend or your pet, a song, even the cup of coffee that you have every morning. Think long and hard. What is that one thing that helped you get through your days? I know there's something in there. So think through it. The other thing is saying thank you to one thing the year gave you, which could look like a sweet moment, a new skill, a promotion, a new relationship, an unforgettable trip, better health. Then say goodbye to the one thing that you're ready to release. Releasing could look like leaving behind a limiting belief, a limiting mindset, a negative thought, an insecurity, a stagnant relationship. There are so many things that we could be releasing right now, to be honest. So, if you know what I'm saying. But seriously, we deserve to release what no longer works without drafting a speech or apologizing for it. Being able to just say, I'm letting this go. It's time to move on. Now, how can we walk into the new year with confidence and intention? And we can start by choosing, let's say, a word or a feeling instead of a resolution. And I love this because you can think of the vibe that you're trying to bring along with you. What does that necessarily look like? Is it softer, bolder, more curious, playful, grounded, adventurous? What is the vibe that you want to navigate your world in the new year and let it meet you there? Think of it as the soundtrack of your life. So if you want it to sound more like yacht rock, I'm thinking of, I love Michael McDonald, by the way. Think of it like that. But instead of hearing Michael McDonald, all you're hearing is this drama-filled country song that will not stop playing. Obviously, that's not the vibe you want to bring along with you. Then maybe it's time to switch it up, move away from that. And like I always say, find your vibe, find your tribe. It's so much easier to recognize a vibe that aligns with you than a feeling that you refuse to acknowledge because it's kind of ugly. It's not really what you want, but you just don't want to look at it because you have to admit that it's not for you. The good news is that the new year doesn't need you to sprint into it. You're allowed to slow walk yourself there. You don't have to be clear or certain about where you're headed in the new year. You don't have to transform yourself overnight either. So sometimes the most powerful way to start a new chapter is simply by arriving just as you are, as curious, as open, and willing to see what happens next. That is all you need. Stop trying to control things and let the world surprise you. Here's to the year that shaped you, stretched you, surprised you, and taught you things you didn't even realize you were learning. Here's to the year ahead where we stop performing or racing our way to the end and instead embrace the playfulness, the joy, the craziness, right? That comes with discovering new ideas, new mindsets, and new versions of yourself. So ring in the new year with a smile, but remember to always check the vibe at the door. All right. Thank you for spending part of your year with me. This is the first year of the Mandalore podcast, and I cannot express enough how grateful I am for your support, for showing up each and every week to dedicate a little time to understanding the world and yourself a little better. I truly appreciate you very much, and may we continue to meet each other here in the new year. In the meantime, take a deep breath, let the year go softly and gently, and step into the next one with wonder, and as always, with plenty of audacity. And yes, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you feel like this could be helpful to someone. And also, make sure to stay fabulous. Happy New Year to everyone. Until next time, take care. Bye.